Good evening, baseball fans. How are you doing? Welcome to some hot takes. We got a few good ones tonight. We're talking Brian Cashman. We're talking Tyler Glasnow and the Rays. Could they actually maybe miss the playoffs? We're going to talk about it. Bobby Witt Jr. is awesome. Could the Nationals or the Pirates maybe make the playoffs next year? Let's get into it. Evening, baseball fans. How you doing? Hello. Almost 100 people in this chat. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all having a sensational week. I've been busy this week. Back to school recently. It's just we're getting into the grind now. We're actually starting to get busy up in the classroom. So we're starting to get into the swing of things, but I'm getting the routine back down. And so content is on the way. I was hoping to post something a couple of days ago. I was hoping to post something yesterday. Couldn't quite get it done. I've had other things that I've had to work on, but I am this close to getting my next video done. It is the top 10 mid-season turnarounds for teams that ended up making the playoffs. So be on the lookout for that. I might post that tomorrow night. I have been posting videos on Saturday nights, and that tends to be a good night to post videos. I've noticed whenever I post a video on a Saturday night, you all tend to, have a good turnout for it. And so maybe look out for Saturday. I got a few more videos that I really want to start chugging away at. I definitely want to do a video possibly on the Yankees, looking at what's been going on with them. I got just other ideas in my head. So be on the lookout for that as well. But tonight, we are talking hot takes. Welcome back to Hot Takes. And we did a Q&A last week, and I kind of wanted to see, how that would turn out. And I did a poll this past week. I asked all of you, what do you prefer? Do you prefer hot takes or do you prefer a Q&A? And overwhelmingly, you all said hot takes. And so I think the way we're going to do this moving forward is I'm going to do hot takes, maybe mix in a couple of questions here and there if I see a good question. So again, be on the lookout for anytime I post on Twitter or on the channel on the community tab. That way, to submit a hot take. So the juicier they are, hey, the more likely I'm going to pick them. I'm just saying, if you guys submit one saying this team's going to make the playoffs or this team's going to win the World Series, I don't know, it's not really juicy for me. I need something that I can really sink my teeth into. So really try to get creative with your hot takes. So I'm going to challenge all of you. More creative hot takes. I got 5 of them tonight. And, hey, these are ones that I can really sink my teeth into. Before I do get started, as always, if you can, hit the like button for me. It really helps out with the algorithm. Hit the bell notification. That way, I go live every single time. Share the stream if you can. And subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 40K subscribers. Man, oh man. Really growing here on this channel. We are presented today by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy. The promo code is HYDE. You get a double on your first deposit up to $100. Let's go check out Underdog Fantasy real quick. Taking a look at what you can do over here on Underdog Fantasy. Hey, we got football right around the corner. RBT, good friend of the channel, he has been doing a lot of Madden content lately. So I enjoy his Madden videos. I'm not the biggest Madden player out there, but it's kind of getting me excited for football right around the corner. So Underdog Fantasy is going to be all over the football content. But of course, this is a baseball channel, so plenty of baseball action on here. You got daily fantasy drafts. You got daily pick'ems. There's a whole bunch of different drafts that you can do. You got $5 drafts, $15 drafts, $25 drafts. So, and then for pick'ems, you can go higher or lower on the statistic that they present. So, for example, Zach Gallen, you could go higher, lower on fantasy points, strikeouts, earned runs allowed, and you can keep going down the list here. You got Corbin Carroll, Perdomo. If you keep going down the list, we got some Pirates players, some Padres players, the Brewers. You can go higher, lower on those. You can even play rivals as well. So definitely check out Underdog Fantasy, proud sponsor of the show. Hey, everyone, I'm looking to do, this channel possibly full-time, maybe in the next year. That would be a dream come true if I can do this channel full-time. We have to have sponsors like this. Hey, I know some of you are like, oh, man, here we go with a sponsor again. But got to promote the sponsors. Really helps pay the bills. So if I want to do this full-time, I got to talk about the sponsors here. So it would greatly help me out if you at least go check it out. That's all I ask. So everyone, let's get back to it here. Let's dive into the hot takes for tonight. I'm going to start off with a fun one. I mean, everyone's talking about the downfall of the Yankees lately. So taking a look at the first hot take for tonight from Explosive 9315 on the community tab, he posted here, Yankees will go below 500 and miss the playoffs. That one isn't quite hot for me, but it's the next part that really got me. Yet Boone and Cashman will keep holding their positions. And listen, everyone. Listen, I think, to be completely honest with you, I think that is pretty hot. The fact that he says that Boone and Cashman are going to keep their positions. Now, over the last couple of years, right, we have really discussed, whether or not Aaron Boone, Brian Cashman will keep their positions. It's, the Yankees, you got to remember here. The Yankees were a Final Four team last year. They got completely steamrolled by the Astros in the ALCS, but they were a Final Four team, so we have to give them that. But it was pretty clear that the Astros were just way ahead of them, and the Yankees weren't really close to being able to compete for a World Series. They got completely swept in that series. And you all have heard me on this channel, power rankings, wherever, that it seems like the Yankees are always a couple of years behind. So taking a look at the Yankees currently, I mean, it's pretty much done. I mean, listen, I'm not going to completely write them off. This has been a very up and down season. It's August 17th. You still got over a month of baseball. Could they get hot? Sure. But based off of what we've seen, it's not likely. It doesn't seem very likely. Even with Judge back in the lineup, the offense has been stagnant. You've had injuries in the rotation. Rodon has been pretty much a bust so far in the first year of his contract. They're 6.5 out. It's looking pretty much done for the Yankees. But taking a look here, there was an interesting tweet. Foul Territory, they got a pretty solid channel going on over there. You got AJ Brzezinski talking ball. Hey, good stuff that they got going on. And they actually had someone, a former minor leaguer in the Yankees system, actually talked with Foul Territory yesterday. And he kind of, you can go watch the video for yourself. They just posted this yesterday, so you can go find it there on their Twitter. But taking a look here, he went into detail talking about how they do things down in the minor leagues. So he was talking about whether they would play like this one game, right, where you would only get points if you got a walk or if you had a very hard hit ball, like over 95 miles an hour or something like that, like a very high exit velocity hit, whether or not, if it was a line out, ground out, you got a point just simply if you hit it hard, right? Even if it was an out, which is great. Exit velocity is obviously, I think that's very important. That's a good advanced statistic that can lead, or that shows us that the better players in the game tend to have the better exit velocity. So, but it's kind of weird how they're doing things like that, where it seems like they're just leaning so far into the advanced analytics. You all know me. You all know I love my stats. You all know I love the statistics. I love Fangraphs. I love Baseball Savant. But at the end of the day, really what it could come down to, putting wins on the board. Go back to the 2006 Cardinals. That was not a very good team, right? There have been teams over the years where they didn't really look great on paper. The stats didn't look all that great, and they somehow, some way ended up winning a World Series. So stats, sure, they're great, and they definitely tell us a lot. But at the end of the day, simply putting W's on the board really is what matters at the end of the day. The good stats tend to lead to more W's on the board, but hey, sometimes you got these quirky teams out here. So, but the fact that the Yankees are leaning so far into this, that down in their minor leagues, they're playing like these weird oddball games, like, I don't know, that kind of just makes me think, what else is going on in this Yankees system? Or what else are they doing down here on the farm? What are they doing, when it comes to, teaching their players? What are they doing when it comes to hitting instruction? Are they just getting super hyper obsessed with analytics that it's actually their player development is being sabotaged? I really do think, as I've said this, there seems to be something wrong with the organizational philosophy. And when you saw this yesterday, I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of answering some of the questions I've been having in the last couple of years. I've been mentioning, I've said, I don't know what's going on in this Yankee organization. They seem to have good prospects, but the Yankees don't ever put faith in them, or their prospects tend to not really do all that much. Now, if we go take a look here, the Yankees are currently number 21. MLB Pipeline just updated their farm system rankings. We're actually getting a lot of updates right now. Baseball America did their updates. Let's actually see. Baseball America, they actually do have the Yankees at number 11 right now. So that is way better than what Pipeline said. Pipeline has them at number 21. But Fangraphs, if we actually go take a look at Fangraphs here, they have them at number 25. So usually Baseball America I rely on them a bit more, but I actually think I'm kind of, I would say, in the middle. If you got 25 for Fangraphs, you got 21 for Pipeline, and then 11 for Baseball America. So let's do what is the average of that? So 36, and then whatever. So maybe you're looking at around like somewhere between 15 to 20. That could be realistic for where the Yankees actually rank. But when you look at the Yankees prospects, like, what's going on with Jason Dominguez, right? This is a guy, everyone, a few years ago, everywhere you went, Yankee Reddit, Yankee Twitter, everywhere you go down the street near the Bronx, everyone's talking Jason Dominguez. Everyone's thinking, well, okay, Jason Dominguez, when is this guy coming up? The Martian, the next Mike Trout, the next Bo Jackson, right? Getting those comparisons. This is a guy who had all the tools, and he was so young. Go look at his scouting grades as of right now. Pipeline has him at a 50 hit, 55 power. He's got speed. He's got an arm. And I'm thinking, like, where is he? Like, there's so much hype behind this guy, and he just hasn't really done all that much. Now, the on-base percentages look pretty good, but the average is down. The slugging is way lower than I would think for what Jason Dominguez, based off of the hype that I've seen. And this guy's a tank. I mean, the guy's he's just a walking tank. I mean, look at the freaking guy. He's got muscle all over the place. But when you look, he's not really hitting for as many home runs as you would think. The strikeouts are really high with him, but he's stealing a lot of bases. He's doing a lot of good things, but he's not really showing what you would think he would be based off of the hype that he's gotten. So that's a guy that hasn't really progressed all that much. Let's go back a couple of years, right? Let's go to 2020. Number 3, you had Davy Garcia. Remember this guy came up in the COVID season? And everyone's like, oh, man, Davy Garcia. This is a fun, young pitcher. He was doing really well with the Yankees. And then all of a sudden, he just completely fell off. And, I'm not going to blame the Yankees for that completely. But I do find that really interesting he had a lot of hype behind him, and he just never really turned into anything. I mean, Oswald Peraza, this guy is still a prospect for the Yankees. At least, well, actually, no, Baseball America still considers him a prospect. So they have him as the number 55 prospect in the top 100. Pipeline no longer considers him a prospect. But this is a guy where they had him playing postseason games. He was hitting well. Last year, last year he's hitting 306, a 404 on base, 833 OPS. Those are really good numbers over 18 games. This year, 19 games, a 173 average. Like, what's happened to him? What's going on with him? I don't know. Austin Wells, if you look at his numbers from last year in Double-A, he hit 261 over 55 games with a 360 on base and a 479 slugging. If you look at his numbers in Double-A this year, the batting average is down, the on base is down, the slugging is down. So what's been going on with his development? I don't understand. Here's a funny one. I know people are going to love this one. Well, let's go back to 2020. What the heck happened to Estevan Florial? Remember, Estevan Florial was that trade piece that every Yankee fan was including to go get whoever out there. Estevan Florial was a guy a few years ago, had really good scouting grades. This guy had a 65 run, a good power tool, a good arm. People are thinking this could be like the next center fielder for the Yankees. Just never really turned into anything. But I'll be honest with you, though. He's having a good year down in the minor leagues this year. In AAA, he has a 588 slugging. He's hitting 297, a 390 on base, 23 homers. Why is this guy not playing? Like, I don't get that. I don't understand it. Like, what are the Yankees? Why? Like, why are you keeping him there? Like, you got Volpe up this year where he's really grinding this year and he's not really putting up great numbers. I mean, to be honest with you, the Yankees defensively, he is helping them out, but offensively, he's not doing anything. Why can't you do the same thing with Florial? I'm not understanding that. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it. You got Bader out there, but I would think if you are going to be kind of falling out of contention, maybe you could see Florial play. But my point is why not just go to the young guys? Why not just give these guys playing time? I mean, he's 25 years old now. He's been in the minors for what feels like 20 years. I don't know. Yeah, like I don't understand. Like Clark Schmidt, this is a guy who had a lot of hype. They're giving him time this year. And last year he had a lot of time as well, but he's just not really turning into what you would think. Basically, the problem here, in my personal opinion, is the Yankees, they're lacking on the player development, and I really think that's hurting them. Sure, they can go sign Aaron Judge to a long-term extension. They could bring back DJ LeMahieu like they did a couple of years ago. You could trade for a Harrison Bader. Sure. In the rotation, obviously, you signed Cole a few years ago. That was a good move. You signed Rodon, but that's not working out. There's so many moves that they've made, but there's no young players, in my personal opinion. Sorry, excuse my giraffe neck Robbie here, but this isn't just the Red Sox. It's many good teams over the years. You usually have a blend of high-performing veterans as well as younger players, right? You always seem to have that kind of a blend when it comes to the good teams. And the Yankees, they don't seem to have that good blend. Like, you got veteran guys, but there's not enough young guys here, in my opinion. Sure, there's some guys sprinkled in, like Brito, like I mentioned, Volpe, obviously. I don't know. There's just not really a whole lot going on. And then you got someone like Stanton, who, he's kind of just stuck there, but he's not really, I don't know. He's just a bat. Like, at this point, he's not what he used to be. Gleyber Torres, this is a guy that they were just stuck on. And I'm thinking, like, what was the disconnect there? I've said this like a million times. Everyone on the planet said that Gleyber Torres was not a shortstop. He was so bad defensively there. And everyone's like, please just move him to second base. And they just wouldn't do it. Gary Sanchez, they were stuck on for so long. I don't know what it is about this Yankee organization. I don't know who is making these calls or like what. I don't know what it is, but what I think the Yankees need to do. Listen, here's the thing. The Yankees are always, it seems like, 2 years late to do everything. So maybe they will finally make some changes. I saw this tweet. I believe Stanzo retweeted this. If you're a Yankee fan, Stanzo is a fantastic guy to follow. As a Red Sox fan, I enjoy his Yankee posts. But he retweeted this yesterday. This person said they didn't know where it came from. But look at this, everyone. Look at this. Brian Cashman, he was hired in 1986, right? He's been the GM since 1998. Gene Afterman, assistant general manager since 2001. Michael Fishman, he's been there since 2005. Tim Nehring since 2007. He's the VP of baseball operations. Michael Fishman is the VP assistant general manager. He's the assistant GM. Damon Oppenheimer, amateur scouting. I mean, that's a big one right there. Now, I'm not going to get onto these guys. I don't know the nooks and crannies of what they do exactly, but I don't know. And maybe there's other teams out there that I don't know the answer off the top of my head. Maybe there are other teams out there that do have guys in the scouting departments that have been there for a long time. But when you look at the Yankees player development over the last, 10 years or so, 5-10 years, you're not really seeing a whole lot at the major league level. And you've had Damon Oppenheimer there since 2001, and Kevin Reese, he's been there since 2007. He's the VP of player development. So I don't know. It just seems like the Yankees, they need new faces here. They need a new approach. I'm not saying these are, bad people. They're probably great people that work in that organization, but it seems like the Yankees, they need something different. They need a change. Like, they need to freshen things up. They need new approaches. They need to do something here. I honestly think Brian Cashman needs to go. He has made some great moves over the past. He really has. But listen, we're in 2023. Yeah, I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, Conman752 with a super chat. Thank you so much. I'll get to that in just a second, Conman. In my personal opinion, you got David Stearns out there, right? Who now it's looking like everyone's thinking he's going to go to the Mets, right? Listen, say what you will about the Mets, LOL Mets, it never seems to die. But the fact that the Mets are, they really want him as the next guy to run their organization when it comes to a baseball operations point of view, hey, good. Because David Stearns is a guy who was with the Brewers, working with low payrolls, really emphasizing player development and scouting, right? That is the key to today, right? Because here's the thing, everyone. Here's the thing. I'm sure some people realize this, but I don't know if everyone realizes this. Do you know how good young baseball players are today? I mean, my goodness. We're going to talk about a couple of organizations here in a little bit. But do you realize how good young players are? Go to college. Like, look at what we just had this past season. Paul Skeens absolutely just wrecking everyone. Dylan Cruz, Wyatt Langford. These guys are insane. Now, who knows what they're going to be? But, I mean, these guys are just off the charts in college. Go to high school ball. You got guys just tearing it up in high school, right? Young players today are so advanced. Go to Little League. I mean, seriously, like, I was just watching, what was it? They got the Little League whatever going. Was it Little League? I don't even know it was Little League. It might not be Little League. It was like the 13 and over. I don't remember, but I saw a player. He was a shortstop, and he was making plays out there. He looked like a major league ready shortstop. He was insane. His glove was nuts, right? These players, these younger kids today are so good, and they're so advanced, and I think that's why a lot of organizations now, they're really favoring these younger prospects, right? Because a lot of them are just so good, right? And, you know, the Yankees, I feel like they're just stuck. Like, they're just stuck in purgatory. And, like, they're just so... They feel like what they... If they were like this back in 2008, 2009, 2010, I think they're a good team. But the way they do things isn't winning championships in 2023, right? It feels like they're like 10 years behind. I always say 2, but when you really think about it, it does feel like they're a team from the 2000s. When you look at kind of just how their roster is built, free agents, couple of few younger guys, you know, they just seem like a team that's stuck in the 2000s, the early 2010s. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't know. They need to switch some things up. But back to the hot take, I will actually, if I were to go back to this hot take, I'm going to wrap things up here on this one. Boone and Cashman will keep holding their positions. Listen, I don't know, man. After this kind of season, you would think, right, that they would finally move on from Boone and Cashman? You would think, but I don't know if they're going to. I think they should. I think they should. Brandon Dillman in the chat. Cashman has been there since 1986. Good God. Yes. He's been there for so long. The Yankees really need to take a different approach. Enough is enough. Will they? I don't know. We don't know what they're going to do because they always seem to really just be sitting on their hands and everyone knows the answer for what they want to do, but they don't want to listen. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's move on here. Let's move on. A little bit of AL East bias in this one early on tonight. But let's talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. Obviously, everyone, you know, the big story right now is Wander Franco. But remember, the Rays are still playing baseball. They're still playing baseball. From Manoah for MVP, the Rays miss the playoffs. Man, oh man. Listen, I think this is a pretty hot take, and I think it is realistic enough. So let's actually go take a look here. Let's go take a look. Let me pull this up. But real quick, before I do get to the actual Rays, we did have an update today on Wander Franco, or was it today, or was it yesterday? But Hector Gomez has made some tweets before where he has been wrong about stuff, but he has been right too. He was actually one of the earlier people. I believe he might have been the first to actually say that the Rays and Wander Franco were coming to an agreement on that extension that they made, right? That big contract. So he got that one, but he says here, a person very close to the investigations into the case of Wander Franco, it will be very unlikely that Wander Franco will play in Major League Baseball again, judging by the results of the investigations that are currently being carried out, which directly commit him to the accusations against him. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, someone actually put here, post the proof or identify your source. He ended up responding saying, my source in this case is the same one that gave me the news when I broke the Wander Franco contract extension with the Rays. So, you know, really interesting. That's crazy. It's crazy. Like, just, it's mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling. He actually did post something else. Let me go back to that. He was talking to, real quick, from Z Deportes. We made contact with Arturo Marcano, who tells us about the possible scenarios that Wander Franco case could have and the alleged accusations against him. I believe he said something else. Let me go back. Oh, here it is. So he says here, from Arturo Marcano, he says, it is not unreasonable to think about the possibility that Wander Franco will not play in Major League Baseball again. If he is finally proven guilty of the accusations against him, a precedent could be set in the history of the major leagues. It's pretty wild. You know, we're not really hearing much other than there's, you know, an investigation, obviously, and that they're talking with a specialized unit in the Dominican Republic. So the investigations are ongoing. You're seeing little comments like sprinkled out there about like certain details, but you can't really confirm. I actually did make a tweet last Sunday. I saw a comment out there that it kind of had some details that I have seen elsewhere out there about the situation, about saying that the mother of the daughter wanted money and a car and stuff like that. So I did make a tweet about that. I just translated what I saw. It was a horrible translation, but I just translated exactly how it was. I ended up deleting it just because I said, you know what? There isn't a source here. It doesn't feel right. So I took it down. I wasn't really showing an opinion either way. To be honest, my opinion on this is, if this is true, this is absolutely disgusting. It's awful. I'm a school teacher, right? This is awful. If this is actually true, I don't know what's true. I don't know anything. But if this is real, if this actually is what it is, this is horrific. This is disgusting. And I know things go on in other countries and whatever, you know, I've read that a lot, you know, people saying, oh, this happens in the Dominican Republic, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And no matter what way you cut it, if this is what it is, it's wrong and it's disgusting and it's horrific, right? As a teacher, it saddens me, to be honest with you. It's horrific to me. I had a few people out there like saying like, man, why are you defending Wander Franco with this post? You know, I'm like, I'm not defending anyone. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I was just posting some details that I saw about the whole thing. And it wasn't me defending him at all. It was just like, to be honest, I thought that the tweet that I saw actually made the mom look really terrible. Like, so I thought everyone is it's just a horrible situation. It's not good. I hope it's like nothing, but it seems like it could be something. We don't know yet. We don't know. Either way, horrible all the way around. You know, the fact that Wander Franco, this guy was superstar of the future, right? And if this guy ends up getting removed from Major League Baseball, if it is found out that he is guilty of it, then yeah, absolutely. You need to go. Goodbye, sir. Right? Absolutely. But just thinking about just the magnitude of it, it's like Wander Franco, this was the name that everyone was waiting for. And he's so good already. And he's like, 21 years old. And it's like, whoa. You know, it's just like crazy. Man, oh man. But I'll say it one more time. Horrible situation. If it is true, it's disgusting. And it's completely no way. No way you cut it. You can't defend it. But moving on, let's talk about the Rays. So, like I said, the whole Wander Franco thing is going on, but the Rays are still playing baseball, right? Even without him. Now, the Rays are 73-50 as of right now. Who would have thought, you know, they'd be in this wild card spot as of right now, considering how good they were in the first half of the year. Now, they've still been fine, but the Orioles caught up to them. Orioles got red hot at one point. Rays were cooling off there, and the Orioles caught them. The Rays still aren't too far behind, but feels like they're on like climbing an uphill battle, right, to try and get to this division. So the hot take again: the Rays missed the playoffs. Now I have a situation. I have a scenario here. This is the one way I could see it happening, right? So let's take a look. The Mariners are red hot lately, and they're right there for a playoff spot. Now, if we go to the Rays' remaining strength of schedule, the Rays have the ninth, as of right now, the ninth hardest schedule remaining with 39 games left. If we take a look at some of the series that they have left, they got 4 more against the Orioles. You got 6 against the Blue Jays. You got 4 against the Mariners. I mean, right there, Blue Jays and Mariners, you got 10 games between those two teams. There's a lot of wild card implications there. And right there is pretty much proving my point that the Rays, imagine they drop. Now, again, let's go back to the Blue Jays, right? They got 6 more against the Blue Jays. Let's say the Blue Jays take 5 out of those 6. Could the Blue Jays end up climbing up and maybe the Mariners get back in, right? Could there be a situation where the Astros, Blue Jays, and the Mariners are wild card teams? It's possible. It's possible the Rays could fall out of this. It's very possible. I think they definitely have a good chance of hanging on to it, but it's possible. Never say never. Conman752. Conman, I'm gonna get to your super chat in just a second, my friend. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna get through this one, and then I'm gonna read some super chats. So thank you, Conman. I appreciate you. Absolutely possible that the Rays could fall out. It's gonna be tough, right? But the Blue Jays, they're really going to have to step it up. And the Mariners, of course. The Mariners are definitely going to have to play the Rays very hard. Hey, excuse my giraffe neck Robbie. I know we just lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals, but you never know what the Red Sox are going to give you. You never know. I mean, they play these good teams really well, but then they play the bad teams really bad. It kind of blows my mind how the Red Sox are when it comes to that. Who knows? Maybe the Red Sox take it to them over these next 5 games. Very possible. And then you got the Twins and the Marlins, so they definitely got some tough opponents. You got the Rockies for 3 more. You got the Guardians. The Guardians are never going to be easy. Angels, they've completely fallen off, and so have the Yankees. But I definitely think the Rays, they could end up having a tough time, but especially now they don't have one of their best players. Wander Franco was one of the better players in the game. All right, and you just lost him, and now you got Basabe as your shortstop. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. You definitely still have some other guys here. You got Lau, Diaz, Arozarena. Rayleigh's having a decent rookie season. But when you're missing Franco here, that's tough. That's tough. The rotation has been pretty solid this year, even though you lost McClanahan. You still got Eflin Glass now, but I don't know, the depth is I think the depth is fine, but obviously you would want to have McClanahan here. The bullpen's been better. If we take a look over the last couple of weeks, the Rays offense, they're 10th overall when it comes to WRC plus. So, some of those numbers do include Franco though. So could you maybe see the Rays maybe dip back a little bit when it comes to the offense? The pitching, despite the ERA of a 4.94, on the year, the FIP is a 3.92. So statistically, they still rank really well. Or sorry, this isn't on the year. This is over the last week. So the Rays are still pitching well. But let's see how it goes, especially when they're going to be going up against the Mariners, whose their offense has completely woken up. The Blue Jays, they go hot and cold like every other week. So maybe they run into a hot Blue Jays team, and who knows? We'll have to wait and see. In the end, if I were to buy or sell it, I think you got to sell it right now, but I'm not going to leave out the possibility of them falling out. So I definitely think the Rays, they're going to have to obviously win some of those games against the Blue Jays and the Mariners. So, but with the way the Mariners are playing, who knows? If they sweep them, Blue Jays get hot. Like I said, the Rays are in good shape right now, at least in the standings. But you never know. Con man, let's get to those super chats. What do you say here? What do we got here? At this rate, Dominguez and Sweeney are going to be the next Florial and Frazier, offered as pieces in every Yankees fan, every terrible Yankees fan trade proposal. So again, getting back to the Yankees when it comes to their player development, they've made trades. Obviously you got Gallo, you brought in Donaldson. They've made other trades so they can get these deals done. But these players that they end up getting, they end up not working out. Look what the Rangers ended up getting in that deal for Gallo, and Gallo did nothing for the Yankees. So, it's almost like the Rangers knew The Rangers knew what they were doing, and they just said, Gallo's probably not going to be good for them anyway. So we'll get a few prospects back, right? And they got Duran, who's doing well, so, the Yankees, man, again, player development. I think if you are going to keep Cashman, I'll say this. If you do keep Cashman, you need to do something with this, with these scouting directors. You need to do something with, whoever these coaches are down in the minors. You need a new approach, I think. I think the Yankees, just look at the way they are offensively. It's just, you got names there and they don't hit. So that tells me there's just something going on there. I don't know. Combat Jones, that's a good way to put it. The Yankees got old in one season. Did they actually get old, or did their approach get old? I think that is a better way to look at it, personally. I think you still got talent, because look at what happens with the Yankees. You get guys that, and I mean, look at Gallo. But Gallo's having a pretty decent season with the Twins. He's hitting homers all over the place. Look at these players that end up going to other teams, and they end up playing really well. Gary Sanchez is even doing better with the Padres. It's like, just saying. And then you get guys that go to the Yankees, like Donaldson. Donaldson with the Twins was really solid, right? And he ends up not doing anything. Sometimes players, it works out when they go to the Yankees. Like Trevino was one guy that ended up, doing well. Matt Carpenter was another guy. So, it's going to go both ways. It just seems like for the Yankees, it works out less for the players that they actually want. So, I don't know. But speaking of farm systems, Conman, you are up here, my friend. You are up. Again, thank you for the super chats, but I also picked one of your takes. Here we go. Even though you mentioned it to me yesterday, I'll say it again here. The Nats will be the 2024 version of the Reds and the 2022 O's. So yes, we were talking about this. We went back and forth a little bit on the Twitter land. I'm going to be honest with you. The Nationals right now, they're playing some good baseball. Hey, they just won 2 out of 3. Just won 2 out of 3 against my Red Sox. In the second half, they are 18-13. 18-13 since the All-Star break. They're playing pretty decent. Let's take a look here at what the Nationals got right now. C.J. Abrams. Hey, this guy can be one of the next better shortstops in the game. Kyber Ruiz just mashed a homer yesterday against my Red Sox. Stone Garrett hitting well for the Nationals as well. What a great name that is. So C.J. Abrams, this guy's 22 years old. He's putting up a decent season. Not amazing, kind of below average, but I think this is a guy that's going to be electric for them. Lane Thomas has been a good get for them. Hey, could they maybe get something out of Jeter Downs? I don't know. But, you got a couple of pieces here at the major league level offensively. And then Mackenzie Gore, he looked really good before he exited the game yesterday. Josiah Gray. So you got a couple of young pitchers at the top of the rotation. You got some relievers that are under control for the next few years in Kyle Finnegan and Hunter Harvey. And then you look at what they got down in the farm, and obviously they replenished the farm with Juan Soto. And look at the guys that they got back. C.J. Abrams, obviously. James Wood. I mean, my goodness, you drafted Brady House not too long ago. Cade Cavalli. And then, obviously, you just drafted Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz, there's definitely a good chance he could be up maybe by next season. That's how good that guy is. Let's see how he does. Who knows? Maybe he starts. He's already at single A, right? Usually, you get a lot of these guys that start out at rookie ball, right? But he's already at A. Hey, start out at double A next year. He tears it up. Come on up to the majors. He could end up being something for them, at least in the next couple of years. So you got him. I mean, you got pieces here in the minor leagues. But here's the thing with the Nationals is they have money. They could go out there and make some moves. They could go sign a couple of guys. They've done it in the past. They signed Scherzer. Remember the Scherzer deal, right? So they could be out there in the market this winter, and they could go maybe sign a couple of pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nationals go out there, maybe sign a couple of guys to 3 or 4 year deals. Would not be surprised at all. I think this Nationals team, I think they could be pretty surprising next year because they already have a lot of potential at the major league level, but they got some guys that could get up there pretty quick. So I think they could be a surprise team. I think they could be like the Reds of this year, the Orioles of last year? I definitely think so, because you already have pieces up here that are going through the motions, right? You know, going through those struggles, you know, kind of getting themselves acclimated to the major league level. Next year, I wouldn't be surprised if CJ Abrams is, you know, near a 300 hitter. You know, Lane Thomas continues to be solid. You know, go out there, maybe get another bat, you know, for the lineup, maybe go add a pitcher. You know, I think it's very possible. I would not be surprised at all if the Nationals ended up doing something. You know, go taking a look at where Baseball America ranks the Nationals as of right now. They have the number 9 farm system as of right now. And Pipeline, they were actually a bit more generous. Let me actually go here to Pipeline. Here we go. Let me pull up Pipeline. I think they had the Nationals up pretty high. Let me get this pulled up. Where are the Nationals? Okay, so they have the Nationals at number 8, right? I didn't even get into James Wood. James Wood is killing it. All right, this guy's having a good year down in the minor leagues. He was really tearing it up. You know, I'm going to also say this too. Jim of Ballcap Sports, he actually tweeted yesterday, because I made a tweet yesterday saying, imagine Mackenzie Gore pitching in postseason games in the next few years, and then the Padres don't even have Juan Soto, all right? That thought to me is like, it's just bananas to me, just because, like, wow, the Padres are the way they are, what they are this year with Soto and the Nationals. It seems like they're trending up while the Padres are trending down. But then Jim made a very interesting point. Could Juan Soto actually just go back to the Nationals? I mean, the Nationals offered him a contract. I don't think it's that bizarre. Why not? Why couldn't he go back to the Nationals? I would say it's probably less than 50%, right? Because there's probably some feelings there. Soto's probably like, nah. They were kind of weird about the whole thing because he didn't like that they put out there about the contract extension. You know, he didn't like that. So I wonder if that lingers for him. And then, you know, Boris, you know, Scott Boris is Scott Boris. So I would put it at less than 50% for Soto to go back to the Nationals. I wouldn't rule it out, you know? I wouldn't rule it out. Could you imagine if he went back to the Nationals? That'd be hilarious. Man, that would be awesome for them if they could pull that off. And then they got all the prospects from the Padres. It'd be hilarious. So, yeah, I buy this. I buy this hot take. I actually think the Nationals could be pretty good next year. Will they make the playoffs next year? I'll lean more towards no, but could they be a team that's surprisingly in contention? Yeah, I think they could. Why not? Why couldn't they? Let's move on here. Speaking of good farm systems, speaking of teams that are on the rise, how about the Pittsburgh Pirates? From Bob Edits. Do you think the Pirates could make a push for the playoffs in 2024? Why not? Why couldn't they? Why couldn't the Pirates make a push for the playoffs? They're in a very similar position. I mean, remember, they got off to the good start this year. You know, yeah, they've completely fallen out now. But obviously, you got Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens already thrown a couple of innings down in the minor leagues already. He threw an inning in rookie ball. He's already up in A ball. He struck out 2 guys over an inning the other day. Hey, Paul Skeens, that guy's going to rise up pretty quick. Why not? You got Keller. You got Bailey Falter. He's going to be more of like a depth guy, but you got Johan Oviedo. You know, you got Quinn Priester down in the minor leagues as well. You got guys. And you got a bullpen that's already pretty solid with Bednar and Holderman as well. O'Neal Cruz is going to come back eventually. Hey, why couldn't the Pirates compete for a wild card next year? Why couldn't they compete for the division next year? Why couldn't they? I don't see why they couldn't. You got good young players here. You know, Sawinski has had himself a pretty decent year. You got Henry Davis up now. I would actually say the Pirates have more of a chance to make the playoffs than the Nationals for next year. I just said the Nationals could compete. I think the Pirates will compete next year. I think the Pirates are in very solid position because you're going to get Skeens up. I mean, think about it. You got Skeens, you got Keller, you got Priester, you got Oviedo, you got Falter. That's not a bad rotation if you ask me. You know, obviously they got to definitely still develop down there in the minor leagues. But, hey, I'm just saying, Pittsburgh, as of right now, they are number 1 on Fangraphs when it comes to their farm. If we go to, what happened to it? Pipeline, they are number 2. And then on Baseball America, I believe, I think maybe Baseball America. Let me actually double check. Where did Baseball America have the Pirates? They had the Pirates at number 4, right? And then you got Andy Rodriguez down there as well. I mean, come on. This Pirates organization, they're in great shape. They're in great shape. So, yeah, I absolutely buy that the Pirates could compete next year. Absolutely. Go out there, maybe make a couple, you know, the Pirates, they're not gonna break the bank for a free agent, but could they maybe make some smaller moves? You know, sure. Why not? I can see, you know, look at what Ben Cherington, sorry, excuse my Draftnik Robbie, but I have the connection with Ben Cherington. You know, go back to after the 2012 season. He made some smaller moves with the Red Sox. You know, he brought in guys like Mike Napoli, Shane Victorino, Johnny Gomes, you know, Stephen Drew. He brought in guys like that. He could make smaller moves like that with the Pirates. Why not? Why not? But speaking of good farm systems, we actually have here a former number 1 prospect. And man, oh man, speaking of Wander Franco, actually, Bobby Witt Jr. is killing it right now. From Max. I love this picture. This picture makes me laugh like a lot because I always think like, who the heck is this guy? And then I'm like, oh, wait, that's Giancarlo Stanton with long hair. That just makes me laugh every time I see it. He says here, Bobby Witt is a top 3 shortstop in the league. Absolutely he is. I completely agree with that. You know why? Because you all know I love my stats. You all know I love Fangraphs. Bobby Witt Jr., as of right now, is tied in Fangraph war among shortstops in the major leagues. So, Wander Franco is the better offensive player overall, but Bobby Witt Jr. is a little bit better defensively. So, evens out to right around a tie, but Bobby Witt Jr. has more home runs, more RBIs. So, but when it comes to the slash line, Wander Franco gets on base more, and he has a higher WRC+. But Bobby Witt Jr. runs the bases really well. He just had the inside the park home run the other day. Bobby Witt Jr. is awesome. He's great. Yeah, I completely agree with this. Is this really that much of a hot take? But the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I want people to realize how good Bobby Witt Jr. is right now. Because if you go look at the numbers over the last 7 games, he's hitting .387, a .406 on base. He has an .806 slugging over the last 7. Over the last 15, he's hitting .365, a .420 on base, .698 slugging. Over the last 30, he's hitting .331 with a .366 on base and a .646 slugging. I'm just saying. Yeah, so I completely agree with this. People probably say, it's not really that much of a hot take, but I kind of wanted to talk about it because I think we're starting now to get into the rhythm of now calling Bobby Witt Jr. a top 3 shortstop in the game, you know, because obviously it's taken him a little bit to get to this point, but I think now we need to kind of start speaking it into existence, right? This is the first time that Bobby Witt Jr. has really been this high when it comes to the numbers, right? He's taken a couple of years here to really get going, but he's having a phenomenal year this year. Just going over his numbers overall, hitting .276, the .317 on base, the slugging is at .458, and again, I said that he had .495 on the slugging. I apologize. He's got the 23 homers. He's got the 76 RBIs, and he's got the 34 stolen bases. I think Bobby Witt Jr., I think it's very possible this guy could be, you know, top 5 MVP voting, maybe even next year. You know, it stinks that he's on this Royals team that's just not performing. I hope the Royals really get it together over the next couple of years. I really hope so. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Everyone, I'm going to wrap this up. Going to keep it to around an hour for tonight. Appreciate you stopping by. But Just wanted to keep the hot takes pretty short for tonight. Of course, we'll be back We'll be back for power rankings on Sunday night, so make sure you come out. Oh, we got a last-second hot take coming in. Amber, how do you say? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna botch this. Amberix? Is it Amberix? I'm so sorry. I know I'm botching it. I'm sorry. Acevedo, will Boston bring up Myers next season? Marcelo Meyer. I think it's very possible he's up next year. He's struggling a little bit in the minor leagues right now. His numbers have dipped. He's had a couple of injuries. But I think Marcelo Meyer, I definitely think there's a chance he could be up next year. I see Meyer as a guy that's more of like a late season call up next year. I think they really want to take their time with him because right now the Red Sox, you don't need to really bring him up right now. Of course, it'd be fun. I don't think you necessarily need to shove him up to the major league. So I think they're going to take their time with him. They're going to take their time. So, yeah, I definitely could see that happening. Everyone, don't forget about our sponsor for today's show, Underdog Fantasy. Remember, everyone, like I said, I really do. The goal is, I'm not kidding, everyone. Listen to when I say this. I would like to do this channel full time, possibly in the next year. You know, I'm still teaching full time, but my dream is to do this channel full time. And if you can help me out, at least go check out Underdog Fantasy. That is our #1 sponsor. That is our prime partner here on the channel. So if you support the sponsor, that really supports me in possibly going full-time with this down the road. So go check it out at least, if you can. So everyone, thank you for coming out. Do greatly appreciate it. Be on the lookout for content. I've got a video this close to being done. Just need to edit one last little part, and then I'm probably going to upload it either tomorrow or Saturday. I got a whole list of ideas, but, you know, back to work now. This is why I want to go full-time with the channel, everyone. You know, because like, I love being a teacher and everything, but I love this channel, and it is my dream, you know, to do it full time. You know, and it's hard to find the time, you know, when I'm at work Monday through Friday. So the more time that I could put into the videos, you know, the happier I'm going to be, you know, and that's as simple as that. So trying to fit doing content in as much as I can. It's, you know, I'm trying to get acclimated to, you know, getting back to work. And, yeah, but I'm getting back into it. Everyone. Brandon Weeks, Robbie, if you haven't heard of Tom Grossi, he has done the same thing you're doing, man. Maybe reach out. Yeah, man. No, I've actually super chatted him a couple of times. I actually asked for advice on, you know, what he did. Pretty much it's just keep going. You know, he told me just keep being consistent. You know, just keep working hard. Keep pressing, you know. Just keep at it. Pretty much what he told me. Simple as that. You know, got to keep growing the channel. Just got to keep working on the content as much as I can. You know, there's going to be some long nights. There's going to be some nights where I'm editing like crazy, you know, going live or whatever else. But yeah, no, Tom Grossi, he's a huge inspiration of mine. That is kind of what I want to be, right? He went to like every NFL stadium for like a series of videos that he did. That's like something I would love to do, to go to every Major League Baseball stadium, right? Like very similar to what he did. He's a huge inspiration of mine. So we'll see. Maybe one day. But everyone, thank you for stopping by. Good episode of Hot Takes. We'll be back for Hot Takes next week. So make sure you're thinking of hot takes. Creative ones, juicy ones. The more juicy, the better. Everyone, have yourself a great night. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll talk to you next time.